Okay, here we go. The final update on the tires. So somebody asked a very interesting question. They said, did you uh, get the tires balanced or rebalanced or something like that? And I kind of am thinking that they were alluding to the fact that maybe I have, you know, a terrible ride because the tires are out of whack. But, there's a little bit of truth to that. So the first time, the day that I picked up the car had, like I said, it was noisy, thumping. It didn't ride well, and I drove it out of town and came back. So it was 250 miles round trip for me to my office and back. And I noticed that the car started to shake a little bit, and that's why I kind of touched on the whole. All season tires have a lot of siping and grooves, and they have a tendency to feather, especially snow tires. So these tires, I could feel, and that's usually my check for alignment, is if you start to feel it feathering. What I mean by that is like it goes up and then down, up and then down, up and then down in a consistent pattern. This is water. I just cleaned my windshield. In a consistent pattern, then you can feel it, and you can feel it just going in a specific direction, like it's choppy in wedges. And the inside had that, so I knew that my alignment was off at that point. And so that can create some noise by itself, having feathered tires. So the next week or the following week, I went to the tire shop and I got an alignment. And I kind of was hesitant to do that because I have the camber arms in the rear, and this is a really tricky alignment from what the expert alignment guy said. Intuitive referred me to an alignment shop, and I went there. It's like two and a half hours away from my house, and they did a perfect alignment. It was perfect. Everything was great, and the tires are wearing beautifully in the back, the old tires. So I didn't want to mess with that. I don't want like my local guy that doesn't, do the alignment, that doesn't do a lot of Tesla alignments, messing with my alignment. So I was real hesitant to do it, but it had to be done, and I didn't want to go back out of town. So I just had them, I gave them the sheet that Intuitive gives out for alignment specs, and I said, don't touch the rear. Let's just align the front. And he said, no problem. And so he did the alignment on the front. It came out perfect. The car doesn't pull, everything's great. And the tires, I probably put about 500 miles on the car since I had the alignment done, and now the feathering is pretty much gone. So I know that the alignment was done correctly. The car doesn't pull, everything's great. So the tires have calmed down as far as tire noise, but the thumping is still there. It's still a lot noisier than the Conti Sport Contact Conti Sport 6s. It's significantly noisier. And the ride is definitely harsher. But also part of my wheel vibration not only was caused by the feathered tires, it was caused by the wheel balancing. Now, I touched on this in the past. These little arrow clips, all of these pieces are arrow clips. They come off. And when I had the car delivered, these things were sitting in a little pouch or a plastic bag in the trunk. So I know that when they balance these wheels, they balanced them without these pieces on. And these pieces easily, an ounce, 2 ounces maybe, they're pretty hefty. They've got metal clips in there. They're not light, and it's not negligible. So when I put them on in the past with my old tires, the car developed a vibration. So I know that these things have to be balanced on the car. So when I got the tires, I put them all on, I took them in, and in order to get this off, they have to take this one clip off, this one arrow clip. And when the guy was road force balancing these tires initially, this wasn't on. And I said, hey, shouldn't that piece be on there? And he's all, nah, it won't matter. And I'm thinking, that's an ounce. You guys are using 1/4 ounce weights, and the machine is telling you the tire's off by like 1/4 ounce here, 3/4 of an ounce here, 1.5 ounces there, whatever. It tells you exactly where to put what. If you're taking an ounce off, and I'm just assuming it's an ounce, it's at least an ounce. If you're taking an ounce off, balancing the wheel, and then putting an ounce on, what does that tell you? You're out of balance by an ounce, or whatever the weight of that clip is. So I just said, whatever, a tire shop's not far from my house. Let's see how it goes. And I'm pretty sure that's why I had some of the vibration, but that was fixed. I had it rebalanced. I had the alignment done. And so, the car's totally fine in that regard. Now all the noise is just strictly the natural noise that I get from this tire. And people have commented that the Pilot Sport All Season 4 is noisy on their car as well. But it's interesting though, because with these EVs, on the highway you only have two things. You have road noise from the tires and wind noise. That's it. There's no motor. So that's why Tesla uses that foam core, because you've got to minimize the tire noise. So like I said, I'm probably going to go back to the Continental Super Conti Sport 6s. I'm just going to stick with those. Those were fine. They lasted 21,000 miles. And it looks like my alignment was going bad. So they had some inner wear. They still had decent tread on the outside, on the middle and the outside. So they had some inner wear because my alignment was off. And I think that as long as I maintain my alignment, maybe have it checked every 10,000 miles or so, the tires should last even longer. And I only need it to last 50 because the car's gone at 50 anyways, probably. So that is my final update on tires. Next time, hopefully we'll see some well, if I have time, we'll put some Continentals on this. But for now, it really sucks the joy out of this car. The Magic Carpet ride, the super quiet, every time I got in, I was like, man, this car's quiet. Oh, this car rides so well. It's so comfortable. I love this car. That part of driving this car and owning this car is gone. And it's not because I'm just being super picky, it's just super sensitive. It's just, that was my initial gut feeling every time I got in this car and drove down the highway, is that it's so quiet, it's so comfortable, and now I just hear tire noise, I hear thumping, I feel a lot more vibration through the steering wheel. So it's taken that element out of the car, and I really think that should be restored. I'm pretty sure the back rides rougher too, but I don't ride back there. Nobody's ever complained, so I'm okay with these in the back, because this is the mission critical part. The back tires wear so fast that I'd like to have the 500 tread wear rating. I don't know if you guys ever watched my old video on the Tesla Model S refresh I had prior to this. That car rides super low on the highway in suspension mode. It's actually called super low. And the ride in the back of that car is brutal. I didn't realize it was so bad till my son was driving. We were going to Vegas and I had my son driving. So my wife and my son were in front and I sat in the back. I didn't realize it was so bad. It almost feels like the back of the car was bottoming out. So I told him to switch it to low or medium mode on the suspension, and it was so much more comfortable. So basically that car had very limited rear suspension travel on the highway in low mode, really low mode. But this car doesn't have that. This car rides on the highway in low mode, not super low or ultra low or whatever they call it. So no complaints in the back. It's much more plush. Okay, so that's it. Bye. What's up?